So since before I can remember, I've also been a fan of Superman. Thank you, yeah. I just took inspiration from him. The cartoons, the comics, the TV shows, the movies, send it all my way. I love this guy. He's fantastic. And he has inspired me to be a helper in my life. Most people who know me will tell you I try to be a helper. The thing, though, about a character that's been around for, in this case, 88 years is you gotta change things occasionally to keep up with the times. And so they've added things from time to time. Some have worked, some haven't. One thing that they added in my lifetime has been something I've really loved. For the first 40 years that Superman existed, that symbol on his chest, that S, it was just an S. It was fine. It meant Superman. Everybody got it. But then in 1978, the first Christopher Reeve movie came out, and we saw at the beginning Marlon Brando as his father, Jor-El, wearing that same symbol. Well, they had to come up with a story for that. And the story they came up with was this was the family crest, and that it had a meaning, and that meaning was hope. And for me, they couldn't have picked a better thing to have added to the mythos of this character. And it inspired me even more. I love helping in just sort of a general way, but when I realized shortly after puberty that my superpowers were not going to be coming in, I had to settle for helping in more human ways, everyday ways. But that didn't mean it had to be boring or that I couldn't do it in a splashy way. The first time I remember doing this, I was a senior in high school. I'd been dating this girl for a couple of months, and she called me from a stranger's house, an old woman's house. She had gotten a flat tire, and she did not know how to change it. The old woman didn't know how to change it. Did I know? Well, thankfully my dad had made me learn how to change a tire before I ever got behind the wheel of a car. And I rushed off, and I changed that tire, and I got to feel like a hero for my girlfriend, and that was a pretty great feeling. The thing is, not every one of those rescues can be so easy, so straightforward. Sometimes they take a little subtlety, some nuance, some planning. At the end of the 2000s, my brother Jeff was getting married, and his bride-to-be was having a bridal shower. And so naturally she invited the women in my brother's life who were important, including my wife, Kimberly, and my mother. And this all would have been fine, but my father decided that he did not want my mother traveling alone up to New Jersey. And so, since he was going as well, and would have nothing to do during the bridal shower, they invited him, my mother and my father invited my father to the bridal shower. This freaked my soon-to-be sister-in-law out. You know, it's a little weird to have a bridal shower with a late-stage, middle-aged man just sitting there in the corner smiling. And a lot of emails flew. I didn't see them because I wasn't directly involved. My wife was going to be going up on her own. And I finally came to realize they were worried about offending my parents and couldn't think of how to get out of it. And by the time my brother finally picked up the phone to call me, I had a plan. Hey, Jeffrey, what's going on? Oh, Jack, I don't know what to do with Dad. He's going to come to Jody's bridal shower. I have to work that day. There's nothing I can do. I'm looking for some advice. Well, how about we try this on for size? I think maybe I'm not comfortable with my wife going to New Jersey on her own. So maybe I drive my wife up and I stay there. And since we're both sitting around with nothing to do, I'll invite him out so that we can talk one-on-one at a bar, something he's always wanting to do. You think that might solve it? Silence. And then, you solved my problem. Jeff's one of those guys who never asks for help. And so to be able to help him in this instance was amazing. But the time that I felt most like Superman was just a few years ago. 6 years ago, my wife went on a business trip out to California. And by that time, she had some medical issues. She can't fly. She doesn't drive. So the only option for getting out there was the train. Now, the train ride out to California was fine. She had a lot of time to work. She had fun bonding with her fellow passengers, and she saw all that lovely scenery on the way out. But on the way back, this was 2019, they had those horrible torrential rainstorms that flooded the western part of the US. It wreaked havoc with Amtrak. They had to delay, they had to go back to Denver. Cell communication was extremely spotty. And so when she finally got through to me on day 5 of what's supposed to be a 3.5-day trip, she was pretty frazzled. Honey, I'm just so tired. They said we'll get into Chicago late tonight, but they can't even guarantee me a seat on the train getting out to DC. And I'm tired, and I miss you, and I don't know what to do. Honey, don't you worry about it. I will meet you in Chicago. So it was too late to drive. So I just went straight to National, bought a ticket at a counter. Little life hack, if you are buying at the airport day of, sometimes the difference between coach and first class is negligible. So I took the plane out, got to Chicago, met my wife at Union Station, got her into our hotel for a decent night's sleep, and the next day we rented a car and drove home together. She was relieved. The look on her face when she saw me there, I will hold with me probably for the rest of my life. And this time I had literally done it. I had flown to save someone. It doesn't get much better than that. We've been reminded a couple of times tonight, we are in uniquely challenging times. The best thing we can do is help each other in little ways and big. And if you follow my example and take just that little bit of inspiration from Superman, when you are helping people, it is going to lift your mood up, and away.